The golden age of muscle cars was in the 70s, when every other car was an explosion of power and style. Under the hood of these machines hid real monsters, ready to tear up the asphalt and kick up dust in their wake. And if you thought muscle cars were only for straight-line racing, you're seriously mistaken. These were true legendary cars that still make car enthusiasts' hearts race today. So, hold on tight, because now we're going to talk about the fastest and coolest muscle cars of the 70s that were simply destined to become icons. 1. Chevrolet Corvette Stingray, 1970 to 1972. We're starting with a true American icon, the Chevrolet Corvette Stingray. Introduced in the late 60s and running through the early 70s, this car didn't just define a generation of car enthusiasts, it redefined what a sports car could be. The Corvette has always been known for its sleek, aerodynamic design, but the 1970 to 1972 models took it to a whole new level. Under the hood, you had the option of multiple V8 engines, with some of the most powerful pushing the car from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in just under 5 seconds, a staggering speed for the era. What made the Stingray particularly special was how it balanced the raw power of those V8 engines with the precision handling of a true sports car. It was a car you could take to the track and then cruise down the freeway in, all while feeling connected to the road. The fiberglass body helped keep the car light, which, combined with that muscular engine, made the Stingray one of the fastest cars of its time. The Stingray also embraced a level of refinement that set it apart from other muscle cars. While many muscle cars leaned into brute force, the Corvette offered a blend of elegance and power, almost like it was a luxury sports car with the heart of a race car. And let's not forget the look. Its sharp, curving lines and wide stance made it a car that turned heads no matter where it went. Even today, seeing one of these classic Corvettes on the road is enough to make anyone take a second look. 2. Dodge Challenger R/T 1970. Next up is one of the most iconic muscle cars ever produced, the Dodge Challenger R/T. When the Challenger R/T was released in 1970, it immediately put the competition on notice. The Challenger was bold, aggressive, and had the power to back up its in-your-face attitude. With a wide array of engine options, including the famous Hemi V8, the Challenger R/T could achieve an impressive 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in just 5.5 seconds. It wasn't just fast, it was fearsome, with a look that commanded attention. What made the Challenger R/T stand out was its aggressive styling, the low, wide stance with the muscular flares around the wheel arches, the long hood, and that iconic front grille. This car didn't just drive, it demanded respect. But performance wasn't just about speed, it was about feeling the road beneath you. The Challenger R/T was designed with handling in mind, allowing drivers to carve through corners with surprising agility. Dodge knew that the muscle car world was about to explode in popularity, and they needed something that could compete with the Mustang and Camaro. The Challenger R/T wasn't just a competitor, it was an instant classic. The bold styling, powerful engines, and unmistakable sound of the Hemi V8 made the Challenger R/T a legend of its time, and it's still one of the most beloved muscle cars of all time. 3. Ford Mustang Boss 429, 1969 to 1970. The Ford Mustang Boss 429. This was Ford's answer to the growing demand for high-performance muscle cars in the late 60s. Ford wasn't content to simply release another variant of the already popular Mustang. No, they wanted to dominate, and they did so with the Boss 429. This car wasn't just about looks, it was about performance. Equipped with a 7.0-liter V8 engine, the Boss 429 was capable of producing 375 horsepower, a serious number for a car built in the late 60s. But what made the Boss 429 so special wasn't just its engine, it was the way it was engineered. Ford built this car with racing in mind, particularly to comply with NASCAR regulations. To do that, they needed a big engine, and they needed it to fit into the Mustang's frame. The result was a car that looked fierce and handled like a true racer. The Boss 429 wasn't just a street machine, it was a track-ready powerhouse disguised as a regular muscle car. Despite its racing pedigree, the Boss 429 wasn't produced in large numbers. Ford only made around 1,300 of these models, making it one of the rarest and most collectible Mustangs ever. Today, if you can find a Boss 429 in good condition, you're looking at a six-figure price tag. But its rarity and performance pedigree make it a dream car for many collectors and muscle car fans alike. 4. Plymouth Hemi Cuda 1970 to 1971. When we think of legendary muscle cars, the Plymouth Hemi Cuda always comes to mind. This car was a pure monster, and we mean that in the best way possible. Equipped with the famous Hemi V8 engine, the Cuda wasn't just a muscle car, it was a symbol of raw power. The Hemi V8 engine could produce up to 425 horsepower, making it one of the most powerful cars of its era. And the 0 to 100 kilometers per hour time of just 5 seconds, it wasn't just powerful, it was blisteringly fast. What really made the Cuda stand out, though, though, was the way it combined its power with an aggressive, distinctive design. The long, wide hood, the menacing grille, and the dramatic curves of the body all screamed performance. The Hemi Cuda wasn't just about being fast, it was about making an impression. And let's be honest, it did just that. Today, this car is one of the most sought-after classics on the market, with pristine models fetching astronomical prices. But the Cuda wasn't just about performance and styling, it was about personality. When you drove one, you weren't just driving a car, you were making a statement. The Plymouth Hemi Cuda was an undeniable symbol of American muscle, and it still holds a special place in the hearts of car enthusiasts. 5. Chevrolet Camaro ZL1, 1969. The Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 is one of the true sleepers in muscle car history. Unlike the wild, in-your-face styling of some of its contemporaries, the Camaro ZL1 kept it relatively low-key. On the surface, it looked like just another Camaro, but under the hood, this was a monster. The ZL1 came equipped with a 430 horsepower V8 engine, which was an absolute powerhouse for its time. With only 69 units produced, the ZL1 is one of the rarest and most collectible Camaros ever made. But the ZL1 wasn't just rare, it was a performance beast. Thanks to the lightweight materials used in its construction, the ZL1 was incredibly fast and nimble for a muscle car. It was designed for drag racing, and it was built to handle the demands of the track. But despite its racing roots, the Camaro ZL1 was also a comfortable ride, making it the perfect combination of everyday usability and extreme performance. In many ways, the ZL1 was ahead of its time. It combined the raw power of the best muscle cars with a level of engineering and refinement that would only become standard in later years. For anyone lucky enough to own one today, the Camaro ZL1 remains one of the most desirable and iconic muscle cars in history. 6. Pontiac GTO Judge, 1970 to 1971. When the Pontiac GTO Judge hit the streets in 1970, it did so with a purpose: to stand out and prove that Pontiac wasn't just another automaker in the muscle car game. The GTO Judge, with its bold Judge decals and bright colors, quickly became one of the most recognizable cars of its time. The GTO Judge was all about performance, too, with a V8 engine that delivered up to 370 horsepower. But it wasn't just about speed, it was about the experience. The Judge was built to be a car for the people. Pontiac didn't just want to build a fast car, they wanted to build a car that anyone could enjoy. Whether you were a seasoned racer or a casual driver, the GTO Judge made you feel like a champion behind the wheel. The aggressive styling, powerful engine, and incredible handling made it a car that embodied the spirit of American muscle. The GTO Judge wasn't just a car, it was a movement. It helped define an era and solidified Pontiac's place in muscle car history. Today, the GTO Judge is a highly collectible classic, and its unique look and unforgettable performance continue to capture the imagination of car enthusiasts everywhere. 7. Chevrolet Chevelle SS 454, 1970 to 1971. When you think of American muscle cars, the Chevrolet Chevelle SS 454 should be right at the top of the list. With its massive 7.4-liter V8 engine and 450 horsepower, the Chevelle SS 454 was built to dominate. And dominate it did. This car could go from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in just around 6 seconds, an incredible feat for the time. But while the Chevelle was known for its speed, it wasn't just about raw power. The Chevelle SS 454 was a well-balanced machine. It had the muscle to take on any competitor, but it also offered precise handling, making it a joy to drive on winding roads or straightaways. Whether you were behind the wheel of this beast on the streets or at the drag strip, the Chevelle SS 454 gave you the feeling of pure domination. But beyond the performance, the Chevelle SS 454 had that unmistakable muscle car look. The aggressive stance, wide tires, and powerful engine all worked together to create a car that looked as fast as it was. Today, the Chevelle SS 454 remains one of the most revered muscle cars, with enthusiasts and collectors alike continuing to covet this incredible machine. 8. Ford Mustang Mach 1, 1971 to 1973. The Ford Mustang Mach 1 was an evolution of everything the Mustang brand stood for: power, style, and versatility. Introduced in 1971, the Mach 1 was available with a range of V8 engines, including a monstrous 7.0-liter version that could tear up the streets. But it wasn't just about having a big engine. The Mach 1 was a car that balanced power with agility, offering a driving experience that was both thrilling and controlled. The Mach 1's design was pure Mustang, bold, muscular, and unmistakable. The hood scoop, racing stripes, and aggressive front end made it clear that this was a car meant for action. But despite its intimidating appearance, the Mach 1 wasn't all show. It was a high-performance machine built to handle anything you threw at it. Whether you were cruising down the highway or taking it to the track, the Mach 1 delivered an unforgettable driving experience. The Mach 1 quickly became a fan favorite, and its combination of power power, design, and performance made it one of the most beloved Mustangs of all time. 9. Dodge Charger R/T 1970 to 1971. The Dodge Charger R/T is undoubtedly one of the most iconic muscle cars ever produced. Thanks to its role in the Fast and Furious franchise, it's made its way into the hearts of a whole new generation of car enthusiasts. But the Charger R/T had earned its place in muscle car history long before it graced the big screen. With a Hemi V8 engine capable of producing up to 425 horsepower, this car was a beast on the road. And with its menacing looks and deep growl, it was impossible to ignore. What made the Charger R/T so special was its combination of power and presence. This was a car that made a statement every time it hit the streets. The wide, aggressive stance and bold design made it one of the most intimidating cars of the era. But it wasn't just about looking tough, it was built to perform. Whether you were taking it down a drag strip or carving corners, the Charger R/T delivered exhilarating power and precise handling. 10. AMC Javelin AMX 1971 to 1974. Finally, let's talk about the AMC Javelin AMX. Now, AMC might not have had the reputation of a Ford or Chevrolet, but the Javelin AMX proved that they could build a car that could go toe-to-toe with the best of them. With a V8 engine delivering up to 330 horsepower, the Javelin AMX was nimble, quick, and designed for performance. Its design was a bit more refined compared to some of the other muscle cars, but that only added to its unique charm. The Javelin AMX wasn't just a car for racing, it was a car built for driving enthusiasts. The handling was crisp, and the V8 engine delivered power without feeling out of control. The AMX was agile, fun to drive, and offered a performance experience that rivaled the big-name muscle cars. And let's not forget its design. The AMX was sleek, stylish, and just the right mix of aggression and elegance. And there you have it, 10 of the most iconic muscle cars from the late 60s and early 70s. These cars defined an era, combining insane performance, bold styling, and an American spirit that still resonates with car enthusiasts today. Whether you're into raw horsepower, sleek designs, or historical significance, these muscle cars represent the best of what American automotive engineering had to offer. Which one's your favorite? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more awesome car content.